This is Brian Skoll with Omni Lucid Media. I'm here with Matt Miller and Ryan Nieders, and we are doing an episode today about Defenders and Game of Thrones. So two epic shows, and now that we have been able to fully see both series all the way through, we're going to do a cast covering that. Can we fit any more incest into Game of Thrones? I don't know. Will Missy be able to roll her eyes and get a new arm? I don't know. But this is going to be a spoiler cast, so hopefully you've already seen it. And yeah, so here we go. Defenders. What do you guys think?
I categorize it as loved it with nitpicks, but overall I very much enjoyed it.
Yep, I'd agree. I definitely overall really enjoyed it. There's definitely the few things that I, kind of wish was different, and they may even still be fixed or whatever in the later episodes and stuff coming on. So it's still early, but yeah, so far loved the first season of Defenders.
All right, so I'm just gonna say it. Can Danny suck any more dick?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my main complaint.
Yep. So I have the biggest beef because I madly love Iron Fist.
Yeah. How is he in the comics?
He is not that.
No, not at all.
And he has two hands that glow, and they don't just fucking glow.
He can't even get his other hand to glow. He can't even, what the... essentially the prophecy is hey, I picked this dumb guy who's gonna fuck it up in just the right way. That.
Yeah. Okay, so I understand what they might have been going for in theory, that it was just destiny and pure, spite that he was able to beat the dragon, or the dragon, chose him, and that because he was still childlike. It's think of it this way. Think of the Catholic school, right?
Yeah.
All the kids act perfect and disciplined when they have to, and then the second they get out of there, they act like little kids, even when they're older. So that's how I imagined what they were going for when he came back to New York. He's I don't have anybody tell me what to do. I could be Danny Rand again.
Oh yeah. And I've known Buddhists when I was studying as a Mahayana Buddhist. There was a younger guy who knew the most English, and he actually ended up going to RVC. He's out now. He's not a Buddhist anymore, and just seeing and talking with him back when he had left, there was a bit of that. Because here the funny thing is that the conversation ended up happening because I had been DJing at that strip club with Corey, and I saw him there. And I was like, oh my God, that's the monk who taught me about Mahayana Buddhism. He's in the strip club. And I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, there is that. Yeah, you leave and it's sort of yay, I'm free, He's also got a lot of mental shit wrong with him right now. And that I get too, but they're not really doing a good job of conveying that, and so he's just coming off this whiny, impulsive dick who has no control.
Here, I'll say this. It was a little bit more infuriating in Iron Fist because he had nobody to
call him a pussy.
I think it came off a little worse than that, and I did like Iron Fist mostly for everyone else in the show.
Yeah, no, I liked Iron Fist a lot more.
Oh yeah, I still really liked Iron Fist. It was.
I think his fight with the Drunken Master guy was pretty fun.
That was amazing.
I liked his final confrontation with Meacham. That was fun too. But what I did like to take a little points away from the sass in Defenders is everyone's fucking, you're a child, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and to the point where they tied him up. I mean, essentially, you wouldn't have to have tied him up if he could handle the thought as a mature adult. That was my first thought. Is okay, well, if you remove him from the equation, the problem's over.
And like I did enjoy like his like whine ass, like you don't know what you're doing, I'll kick your ass, untie me. But then when like he saw Luke in danger, he snapped out of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there is potential for them to fix this in whatever they do.
If he doesn't change as a character, I will dislike the Defenders a lot more. If this doesn't change him as a character, like it's ruined.
So before we move on, and Ryan, if you want to say a little more about this, everybody needs to go read Immortal Iron Fist from 2006 2009 by Ed Brubaker and Matt Fraction. 27 issues. That is some of the best Iron Fist in the world, and you will see why.
Repeat his name. The artist's name.
No, it's Ed Brubaker and Matt Fraction.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, Immortal Iron Fist, if it's 27 issues, then you can probably just get one graphic novel and cover the whole series.
I think it's like three trade paperbacks. I don't know if they have a bound collection.
Oh, okay.
But,
well,
yeah. The Immortal Iron Fist. It's fucking amazing, and you'll see why people actually like him if this is the first time you've ever seen him, and you're like, why do people like this character? That's just read the comics. You'll see.
Yeah, and I haven't read that specific one, but the comics that I had read with Iron Fist, I mean, I don't know if it's just that one, but any comic that I've read of him, like I said, I like the Iron Fist from the few comics that I have read of him. Like, Danny's a lot more composed, and he's a lot more rational. It's typically Luke is the one that's being a lot more irrational in the comics that I read, where Danny's kind of like, no, we need to sit back, calm, relax, we'll think about the situation. You know, like he's very... Like I say, he's very composed. But so my comments on Iron Fist were basically this. So to stay with kind of bashing him here a little bit before I do the praise part. So the other thing that was really bugging me was the fact that Iron Fist supposedly knows every single martial art out there, and not only knows it, but he's a master at it, which was pretty cool. Like you said in the Iron Fist show. That when he fought the Drunken Master, it was cool to see, like, his stance changed. He was able to fight that guy, and you do kind of see it. That was one of my complaints of the Iron Fist show, is just the fact that he does know all these, and if you're paying attention, you can tell that he's using different fighting styles for his different opponents, but they don't really make that too obvious. So if you're not looking for it, I mean, I guarantee most people don't even realize that he's fighting in different ways, because he usually doesn't do, the typical fighting movie where you'll see him get in like the new kind of stance and put his hands or his legs in a different way, and it kind of lets you know, like, hey, he's using a different stance now. And the main one in the Iron Fist show was when he fought the Drunken Master, and it was badass. But so he's supposed to be this master, and then that's the one thing that was, or one of the things that was bothering me was then Daredevil pretty much kicks his ass, and then Danny's getting his ass kicked by the four, what were they called, like the four fingers of the hand, or the five fingers, or
the fingers of the hand,
the leaders. So Danny's getting his ass kicked by one of them.
There's a good reason for that.
Well, yeah, but so Danny's getting his ass kicked by one of them, and then Daredevil goes in and he's taking on two of them, and not only is he taking them on, but he's actually beating them. So that was another reason where it's like, okay, it's like Danny should be and is a better fighter than Daredevil in the comics. Not that Daredevil's a bad fighter, it's just that Danny's just so much more, he has so many more styles to choose from that he could usually take Daredevil on.
So either they're going for that he is a pure skill with, like, what do I call it, like book smarts without street smarts.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Arts.
Yeah.
And because Daredevil was trained by Stick as street smarts instead of book smarts, because Stick doesn't give a shit about book smarts. And when I say smarts, I mean martial arts. So yeah. But fun, quick nerd fact: when Daredevil had to prove that he wasn't, or when Matt Murdock had to, I think it was during the first Civil War, he had Danny become Daredevil for him, so he could walk around and do Matt Murdock.
Yeah, I think it's the difference between real. At this point, I could accept. Plus, I wanted to see Danny get his ass kicked, but I could accept that Daredevil was better because he's just been out in the field more. He knows how to apply these martial arts skills to real world fights, whereas Danny's still got and martial artists will tell you this, like, you know, the martial art is not what you actually need to win a fight. You know, all the flourish goes out the window, and it goes back to the fundamental basics. And if Danny's coming from this position of like, I've mastered all of them, and he doesn't know when is good for what, you know, like what style to choose for what defense against dudes in a street fight, you know. So I could accept it at least.
And he also like left early, so I understand what they were going with, but.
Well, his training, you figure, okay, he was how old when he got taken in by the monks?
12.
Like 6. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's like 2 decades of training, hardcore.
Well, no, he's supposed to be like.
He's in his.
I don't know how old he's supposed to be, but.
Okay, so it's at least.
Like 20s.
Okay, so it's at least a solid 10 to 15 years of everyday training, every day. Yeah, I don't know. I could see it going both ways.
Yeah. So the other thing I was going to say, you know, praise it a little bit more because, like we all said, we do love the show, and we're just sitting here bashing on it. One of the things that I was extremely happy to see, and I even sent this to Matt and you too, Brian, when I was watching it, was I really loved the banter between Danny and Luke Cage. Like, it just made me, I was just like, yes, more Heroes for Hire. That's what I really want to see.
Yes.
Because those two
Power Man Fist.
yeah, the banter between them is always just like hilarious, and the fact that I thought that they did that extremely well in the show, because and it was always like little moments, like when they were sitting at the table and they were just eating food, you know, they were just kind of giving each other shit, but it was
that restaurant scene. We can talk about that next one.
Yeah, it was.
So that was definitely one of the good things with Iron Fist, at least.
Yeah. So much good. Well, I think it started off really well too. The first couple episodes I think were really well done in setting up. Not only did in the first 2 episodes, or even in just the first episode, they get you caught up on every single character, plus introduce the new bad guy. Yeah. And that was really, really well done, I noticed. And from there, then they start to build more of the character of, you know, what's going on with Elektra and what's going on with, you know, what's her name?
Finally explaining the big fucking hole.
Yeah.
Shit from the start of Daredevil. I loved how, setting up was great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what did you love about that from the start?
Well, it's because because Defenders was, they told us they were doing Defenders when they announced the first season of Daredevil. That's how long we've known this was coming.
Yeah.
Like they when they made the press release for we're doing like 4 Netflix shows, or 5 Netflix shows, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Defenders. We're like, holy shit. So from the beginning of Daredevil, they started this storyline of this war, and you're going to Matt in the first one where you're like, yeah, stick, war, ninjas, thanks. And the Defenders was like, surprise, I was right. They're going to kill everybody. So I love how they actually took the time to bridge all of it together. And even little stuff with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage with like the law firm and bringing the cops in and just everything tied together nicely. It made sense for all of them to be there.
Yeah. A few other things that were kind of annoying was, you know, with the law firm and his friend, just acting like the Daredevil is the worst possible thing imaginable, and they can feel the city like shaking, right? Shit is falling apart clearly, and they're both still like, oh, I don't know about. Oh, it's just so terrible. Yeah, he's got to do it. What do you mean? Like, why is there reluctance? New York is shaking. Like, yes, get out there. I don't care. The personal feelings aside, you know, there was a bit of overacting, I think, in that respect.
They're deadly ninjas. You know they're evil ninjas. You've seen them.
Yeah, And
he's the one that can stop them.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
it's like, why do I got to go to the police station and get protected? It's just like you should already know. Like, why is there a conversation here? Yeah. And aside from that, oh, man, I just gotta say, Missy, what a terrible actress.
You forgot the T there.
Misty, there we go. What a terrible actress, first of all. I was hoping she wasn't going to make it into this show. She's so annoying as a character.
You should do some Googling about her character, so you would have known that, yep, she's here to stay.
No, yeah, and I just have a problem with the way she's being portrayed, the way that she's being acted. It's annoying. Every other, in Luke Cage, it was like every scene she was rolling her eyes. Big eyebrows, rolling her eyes. Disgust. She's disgusted in every scene. And it's like, why do I want to watch a character who is literally disgusted by everything everyone says? Like, the way that she solves the problems is just show up and be disgusted. And, and when she lost her arm, I was like, yes. Anyway, yeah, I'm just fully annoyed by that character. But
maybe her robot arm will help her.
Yeah, maybe they'll be able to, like, put a damper on those eyebrows, and she can, like, fucking chill out. She can chill out and stop.
How did we feel about Colleen and her the arc of her character with Bakuto?
I really like her as a character. That's one that I wasn't aware of from any of the comic books or anything, but I mean, I really liked her starting off in Iron Fist. And then I honestly, I mean, and I don't know, Matt, you might be able to tell me if she's actually like a hero somewhere later on down the line, but that was one of the things where they keep like pushing her to the back, like, no, you need to get out. You need to go back here. You can't be up here with the rest of us. It's like, she was holding her own just fine. She could very easily be in there in the fight with you guys.
Yeah,
that was the one aspect of, like, where I was like, she's pretty good. Let her help.
yeah. She can keep up.
By the hand. Come on.
Yeah. She can definitely keep up. She's a better fighter than Jessica. I mean, Jessica just has her strength. So, I mean...
Which I love her too. But Colleen and Misty form a team in the books. So, yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know. I hate to disappoint you, Brian, and here's a spoiler for the comics. Misty Knight and Danny Rand hooked up. So
yeah. Well,
sorry. We'll see if
we'll see if she can ruin that.
Because it's good in the books, but this actress, we'll see.
Well, maybe it'll be good because you'd have somebody she could roll her eyes against his stupidity, and maybe they could cancel each other out. Oh man, I'm trying to think. So Luke Cage is just the baddest dude in the whole series. The whole series, he manages. He's the biggest player in the whole show. He sleeps with everybody, and
he gets coffee with everyone.
Everybody. He's just, and I guess it just goes to show you, what being a nice guy will do. But I like the fact that, like.
Well, that body also helps.
Well, so, yeah, definitely. He's fucking big. He's big and sexy.
Ladies cannot deny.
Nah,
if that was some fucking toothless, homeless black dude going, "Hey, you guys want the coffee?" No, no.
Yeah. To the point of even Jessica Jones is trying to get with him at the end. Maybe we'll have a hot coffee. And he looked at her like, really?
I don't mean the comic book nerd, but they have a baby.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm wondering if they're going to continue with that since they're doing the whole Luke and Claire thing. But yeah, that's actually how I didn't even know who Jessica Jones was as a superhero so much, other than the fact that she and Luke Cage were together.
She is a very new character in the scheme of things, like 2000s, Brian Michael Bendis.
Okay. And it's a good example of creating a new character and having them carve out their own niche. What have you read the Alias comics? What are they like?
Oh, Alias is great. It's basically they took a lot of the first book, the first series for the show, She started out, except I'm not sure if Patsy Walker was in it because she's really good friends with Carol Danvers in the Captain Marvel in the books. So because they were doing that whole movie thing, they had to bring in someone else. But yeah, she started out as a hero, as Jewel. She had a costume even. That costume that they teased where she held it up in the show and went like, nope, that was her Jewel costume. That was her name, Jewel. And she's just starting out being a comic. She could fly pretty well, and then she met Purple Man, Kilgrave, and that ruined everything. So, yeah, a lot of the first book is the show. And then it's basically Brian Michael Bendis at his best. Kind of the crime, dirty, gritty. Like, this is superheroes are fucked up, you know.
And he's a good writer. He's a fantastic writer.
So she's sitting there drinking, going through, like, ex-husband fucking cheating photos while fucking Iron Man swings by and Spider-Man swings by, and she's like, ugh.
Get away. God.
Like, technically you were an Avenger, and I'm like, don't remind me. And then they did a series called Pulse, where she started working for the Bugle, and it's all good. So go look that shit up. And the current book, all of their current books are really good too.
Excellent. So I don't know. Some of the fight scenes were fantastic. The hallway fight scene when he went there, just the fantastic martial arts. The biggest disappointment for me with the end fight scene was that for the amount of choreography that they had already shown, it was kind of like a free-for-all, and it was a little too dark. But there was one shot specifically where they did the circle cam. That was one continuous shot, which is just the way that, I mean, I guess I need to go back and rewatch it, but it was really, really well done, and they didn't make a big deal of it. But as it's happening, like, holy crap, they're not making any cuts, and as they're slowly circling, everybody is getting to their cues, and they're already doing the martial arts, which means they're choreographing stuff that you're not seeing, so that by the time the camera's coming around, they're already in motion. You know, like, it was really well done. I'd like to see some behind the scenes of that shit.
Quickly to mention, I don't think you need to say Daredevil's fucking amazing.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Daredevil's the man.
He held it together.
He's the greatest.
Yeah.
That was actually something that was really like the humor that they did with Daredevil and basically Jessica Jones and Daredevil was just cracking me up all the time because she's constantly giving him shit, and they're all, you know, because none of them know who he is or what he's doing. He's sitting there using all his, you know, heightened senses, and they're just like, what the fuck? Like, this guy he knows where shit's at, he can hear everything, he knows everything. Like, what's going on with this guy? And at that point, they didn't know that he was Daredevil, or at least, you know, he hadn't worn the outfit or anything, and they're just kind of like,
know what Daredevil can do. So it's not like everybody knows he's just a guy in a suit who defeats some criminals. They don't know.
Right. I mean, that first scene, he's walking around with Jessica's fucking scarf on his head, and all they know is he's apparently a lawyer, and it's just like, who's the guy in the suit with the scarf wrapped around his face?
Yeah, I thought it was funny that, like, as the show goes, she gradually gives him less shit as she becomes aware of what he's capable of. So, and it gets to the point where, like, at the piano, when he pulls that little touch was so amazing because it makes you think about how he would have figured that out. But the sound in the room would have been different if that blueprint hadn't been there on top of the chords, right? It changes it would change the vibe, and so that would be like a subtle thing that he would pick up on. And then after that point, she, like, stopped giving him shit. It was like, how the fuck?
Well, I think that, I mean, yeah, it probably helped with him having his abilities, but it was, I don't know if that was so much just because of his abilities. He sat down and played it, and he could hear that, you know, the notes were off, which I think...
Well, he had to have a reason to sit down and play the fucking piano.
He picked up on something.
Just sit down and play your piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't think of it that way. But yeah, no, the banter between the two of them, and I love too how Stick actually tells Matt that, you know, oh no, you need to lead them, like not Iron Fist, like you guys. It's like, I hope that they're not trying to have Danny lead this. It's like, no, like you're the one that's been trained and prepared for this, and you're fighting me on this, but you know that it's true that you need to lead this group of people, and Yeah, no, Daredevil is
That was
badass.
that was another cool thing I liked, even to Danny's little bitchiness, is that when he realizes that he's the MacGuffin, that all they care about is the power inside of him, and he's like, but oh.
Oh yeah, he had that poo face on that he gets,
Yeah.
and it's just like he's like,
I'm a badass fighter. I'm not immortal. Oh, you just want the. Okay.
you mean it's not about me? Yeah, there are moments where he acts like such a prick, and you want to smack him, And it was good that Luke Cage was like, yeah, I'm not some billionaire white boy, man. I'm thinking about the people. Like, even though Luke Cage was like, in the end, was kind of wrong because he wasn't thinking big enough. It was still nice to have him be like, man, I'm thinking about real people, and you're just a billionaire little white boy, Like,
Yeah. Again, to what we were saying, if there's any hope for this Danny Rand character and the writers to put him and Luke together, I've always said from the beginning that after watching Iron Fist, that I don't think Luke and him need their own season 2s. They need to put them together, and that'll be their season 2. Heroes for Hire.
Well, what they'll probably end up doing is more of like a Flash Arrow type thing, where they'll just start having episodes where they actually work together. Hopefully, more that
they got a lot of shows in the pipeline, so they got to start trimming. Everything can't be having 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's true too. That was one thing that you reminded me when we were talking about like Danny and how he's going around and they're like, oh, we just want your power, we don't care about you. But I really loved how even there was a scene where Colleen's talking to Claire, and she says something along the lines of, well, yeah, Danny will tell anybody that listens that he's the damn Iron Fist.
So they're aware. They have to be aware. This has to be. This is them realizing what they did wrong with Iron Fist.
Yeah,
hopefully, yeah,
and fixing it. Yeah, I hope so too. And it's sort of like the Hulk Thor phenomenon. I think like where they realize like they're not getting enough revenue from them on their own, so just put them together because there's a dynamic there that everyone wants to see. And so yeah, I could easily see them just doing that with, in this case, like because Luke Cage was a good show, but it wasn't all that good, and it was a confusing show. It didn't know what it wanted to be, and then Danny Rand is, everyone has problems with him. So yeah, if they could put them together, I think that would be a great dynamic. Yep. And Jessica Jones, alongside Daredevil, there's a great dynamic there too. So
yeah, because they're doing Jessica Jones season 2. After everybody loved The Punisher, they shoehorned in a Punisher season, Daredevil season 3. So they're kind of full. They got a full schedule. So they got to be really careful what they do, as to not just churn out a season 2 for both of those shows just to do it.
Yeah.
I think they need to really focus on the characters more, and maybe instead of having 2 seasons and maybe have them cross over in one, just put them together.
Well, it would make it easier too, because that's, like you said, everybody's got this problem with Danny being kind of like, the little rich, spoiled white kid that, acts like a 12-year-old still. And then you put him together with Luke, who's, been around the block. He's, had a rough life growing up. It's kind of like, all right,
twice.
it's like, yeah, Luke has all the street smarts, and he can sit there and be like, no, Danny, listen to what I'm telling you, and, I can help you out with this. So I think it would make it easier for the writers too if they put Luke in there, because you can't just be like, oh, and then suddenly Danny realized he was wrong. But if Luke's there, you can have Luke say something and explain it to him, and then it makes more sense. Like, oh, okay, he brought Danny kind of off his high horse and actually taught him something about the world. Because, and again, Danny's been in Kunlun since he was a kid, so he doesn't know anything about civilization or anything like that outside of the.
He doesn't know how to be an adult.
Right.
Yeah. Then the only risk with a team up is having much less time for character development, which was really needed for Jessica Jones and Daredevil especially. There was a lot of character development that got us there, in addition to the good acting. So you run the risk of limiting that, and I think if they really wanted to do Danny Rand right, they would find creative ways to show where he's socially deficit, and then bring that out in him and watch him overcome it, because no one can relate to a billionaire, but anybody can relate to having a social awkwardness in a way that you don't understand what you're supposed to do. And I just think like they could dive into that and make you like the character and feel sympathetic for why he turns around and acts like a bitch, because he's frustrated. So like if we can connect with that, if we could connect with that, you know, as far as the character goes, they will have something that people will want to see more, I think. I don't know. It depends on how they do it. So
yeah. So two things real quick. You briefly mentioned Luke Cage's speech to him. I almost groaned when he said the word "you have privilege." I'm like, oh God, don't go there. But then they did it right. They didn't go overboard. That was real social justice. Like, yes, fucking, he's not some douchebag with a suit and $1 billion trying to do right because he thinks it's right. He's seen the shit. I'm like, thank God that they didn't go super ham and they did it right. I love that.
Yeah, I liked how that was done too, because
that could have gone a lot worse with the climate the way it is.
Yeah,
that speech could have gotten a lot worse.
When it made Danny Rand's character redeemable, because he's like, oh man, maybe he's right. You know, like I do. Why am I attacking this problem like I don't have power when I do? So yeah, you know, he was definitely right. But yeah, I mean, it worked with how smug he looked when he's like, oh, I just paid the rent for a year. And the smile that he has on his face is just like, look how cool I am, showing off like a little kid. Yeah, so it fit. It definitely fit.
Oh, I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Yeah, good show.
So
they tied up their stuff. All the hand is dead. Dun dun dun. Except it's not.
Next will be the foot or the throat. I can't wait.
Hey! What you just? The Ninja Turtles, man. The foot. That's where they got it from.
I know.
Connection.
So, Game of Thrones. Ryan.
Is that a show?
Yeah. It's actually a book.
Ryan has actually read the books.
I don't read them.
He knows. Yeah, what is this reading?
Okay.
I did read the books, but it's been a while in the fact that we've been past the books for at least the last 2 seasons, maybe even like the last 2.5 seasons, honestly. So,
can you tell me one real quick thing, Ryan?
Sure. Well, maybe.
I hope Benjen isn't just some random guy that shows up twice every 2 years in the books, right? They actually have character development for him?
No, yeah, so Benjen, that's one of the things that the show has done that was different from the books. What they've kind of done is they've merged there's a couple characters that they've merged at least 2 people into one. And I think it's just for the sake of the show and to not make it so that they have even more people to keep track of. Because in the books, Benjen and Cold Hands, at least at the point that the books were at, they are not the same person. So that's one where they kind of like, hey, well, Benjen went out. Well, you know, we know who Benjen is, so let's just make him Cold Hands so we don't have to explain Cold Hands to anybody.
Even though they're not really explaining shit with him.
Right, and that's where
he just showed up like Ghost Rider last episode.
Yeah,
and that was it.
That was pretty annoying. How it was just like, hey, and I'm back. Okay, I'm here. I'm back so I can die. And he
Allegedly.
had more of a role in the I don't remember which season that was, but when he helps Sam, he actually had more of a role with helping Sam and Bran when he was still out beyond the wall. Because basically Bran was going to get fucking killed, except Cold Hands showed up and helped them out and kind of set them back on their right path. So that was okay. And they did that with, I'm trying to remember who the other characters are, but like I've told you guys, so Bronn is actually my favorite character. And whenever he shows up, I get really fucking happy because I love how he's a smart ass and he doesn't care if you're royalty or not, because he is that good of a swordsman and he knows his worth. But in the books, he he wasn't really. I mean, he kind of had that same air about him, but he was only there until he fought for Tyrion at the Eyrie, and after he did that fight, Tyrion paid him, and you don't see him again. So
Wow.
I'm really happy that they kept him on, and I'm assuming that it's because they recognize that so many people did like the character, so they're like,
What a win
let's
for the
just kind of
show.
keep him around.
Yeah, that's a win for the show because he's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every time he's there, I always get excited when he shows back up.
They could do an entire show just with some of these side characters. Some of them are so cool. The Onion Knight is just one of my favorite. The whole time he's been like, "Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that." And even the last episode, he had some of the best lines. Something about time. He's like, I forget what he said. Something about time as a way of fucking us all, or just the way that he said it. But and he's like, well, I'm only an old man. I only know what the hell I'm doing.
When he's talking to Gendry and Jon, and he's just like, oh, maybe you should start listening to me. I haven't been around this long for being stupid. Or
but the whole time he's been like, that's wrong. That's wrong. You shouldn't do that. That's immoral.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to I just had to ask that because Ghost Rider Benjen pissed me off.
That was really annoying.
And then it was like, okay, so finale.
Draco Lich.
Don't do it, I screamed for the last 2 episodes. Don't do it, John. Don't put it in there, John. No. You're related.
Yep. Just more incest. More incest.
Yeah. Well, but you have to remember, too, with the whole Targaryen family, they've married brother to sister for, like, years and decades, and for a long time, that's been the way that the Targaryens have done it. So the fact that he's actually, it's like a aunt and nephew situation happening where there actually are...
Far removed by comparison?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by comparison.
That doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right, but still, it's better than... I mean... Would you have rather have had Dany's brother from, I can't even remember his name, Viserys? I can't remember his name, but her brother from the first season that gets killed by Drogo? Imagine if those two were fucking instead.
They used that actor for Rhaegar. Are they supposed to be twins?
That wasn't the same guy.
I'm pretty sure it was the same actor.
You should look it up. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
Because that looked just like him.
Well, and I want to know... Why is the three-eyed raven like? He needs to know right now. As soon as alliances are formed, he's like, he needs to know this earth-shattering information so it can fuck it all up. It's like you can't wait. You can't wait till the war is over. You gotta say he's gonna throw it in during the war, and be like, hey, not to make everything more complicated, but you're related. I don't know.
I don't know if it's going to really screw stuff up as much as people have been saying. I've already seen a lot of comments, even today, and I think even last night after the show was done, where people are like, "Oh yeah, it's going to totally ruin things, and they're both going to just be disgusted with each other and all that." I don't think it's going to mess it up as much as people seem to think it will.
I think when Dany finds out she's not the heir, that's going to fuck things up.
That more so, but well. And that's the thing, though. They already kind of started down the path of that Jon was going to be with her, and they were going to kind of have their alliance happening anyway. So
that's also going to fuck up the King of the North not being a fucking Northman.
Yes, and he's an empathetic character. This is going to mess him up.
Yeah.
He can't. He's going to have a hard time handling that. So I think just given by how he's acted so far.
You have to see, though, too, because the little speech he gave Theon about how Ned was, Theon's dad and how he cared about him more than his own father and all that. And he even told him, he's like, you're a Greyjoy and you're a Stark. So, I mean, the fact that he's telling Theon that means that he can at least look at it that way. I'm not saying he's going to, immediately, he might be a little like, holy shit to begin with. But at least he looks at it as, well, Ned Stark raised me. I'm Ned Stark's son. He never even met his dad, so...
But that's also like, you're thinking of like the history. That's one of the reasons the wars started. Was because they thought that Rhaegar kidnapped and raped Baratheon's future wife. So, and the fact that he's also going to be a Targaryen, like, that's gonna be interesting.
See,
how they do that in only 6 episodes.
You see what racism does? This is really just this is what racism does. If no one gave a shit where anyone was from.
So there's only supposed to be 6 episodes in the final season?
Yep.
Oh, man.
And we may get it in 2019. Maybe that long.
Now Cersei has no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
No.
The only reason, or I still wanted to see her lose, but now that Jaime's gone, there is not one single thing about her or her army that I'm like, oh, but maybe, not so bad, because now it's like, all right, Jaime's gone. He's probably going to go and join the North because he's trying to keep to his word. So,
can we talk about that scene when she tells him to fuck off or die, and like the look on his talk about good acting.
Yes, yes.
Nikolai, whatever the fuck his Russian ass name is or whatever.
There was real pain there.
Oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah,
I was like, are you gonna fucking kill me right now?
Yeah, there was a look of
one that's been in your corner. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. And speaking of that, so that definitely have to bring up the beginning scene where everybody is there discussing the White Walkers. That scene was just so monumentally epic because when people are walking in, and it's just like you look at all the different history between the people that are there, like even just like with Tyrion walking up with Bronn and Podrick, it's like, man, like these guys they all fought together and they were all together in this one time, and it's like, okay, now Tyrion's with Dany, Podrick is with the North, and Bronn is with the Lannisters, so it's like they all split up there, and then you have the stuff with Theon and Euron. You have the stuff with the part with the Hound walking up to. Oh God, yes. That part was just like, this is because that's the first time he's seen him since he became the zombie, Sir Gregor or whatever the hell he is. Yeah, and it just makes the Hound his character so much cooler. Is that
talk about character growth?
Yeah, there's a teddy bear hidden in there somewhere, but he's just got the balls to just walk right up to this guy and just with everything going around like that. You're right. That scene was the equivalent of a good battle scene for me as far as level of excitement goes. Like you said, with the history. But like, did you watch after the show? They gave the behind the scenes of that, where the difficulties in filming that. They acknowledged it and they were like, it had to be filmed with everyone there, or else it's not gonna feel real. It's just gonna be them trying to emote at empty space. So they played that scene. Everyone was there for every scene, and they were actually looking at each other and playing and acting off of each other. So great. Yeah,
they said They said too that scene they were shooting that for 2 days straight. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's like I said. I mean, there's just so much history between all the characters, because then you fall back into the Hound and Brienne. So
yes.
You have that history. Then you have Brienne and Jaime that are there. You have, I mean, it's just like you go around that circle, and it's like pretty much everybody there has had some sort of interaction, mostly bad interactions, throughout the series. And it's just like, holy crap, like you're all just standing here. Some of you haven't seen each other in, probably the span of years, and now you're all like showing back up, and it's like, oh, you're still alive. Oh, you're still alive. Oh, well, hey, I thought I killed you. No, I'm still alive too.
Yeah, and that's the mark of really good storytelling. For all the shit that people want to talk and the criticism, like you just can't deny how exhilarating that scene was, and it was only exhilarating because of like all the history and everything that has led up to this point. And then not only that, but they did it well. Everyone stayed in character and they reacted like they would have reacted. So
oh yeah, no, they did that just amazing. And I remember the after show scenes or behind the scenes, whatever you call that. The guy was even saying how they, like you kind of were talking about it, Brian, that they had to go around and they were trying not to focus on any one person too much, because then they were going to miss something. They were going to miss an interaction happening with somebody else. So they had all these interactions happening at the same time, and they were trying to film it all and
That's insane.
make
Yeah.
it look as natural as possible, kind of like what you would probably expect to happen if it was like, I mean, this was basically Game of Thrones, the Peace Summit. So it's like, if you had somebody running around with a camera at a peace summit trying to record and show the reactions that are happening with all these different countries and armies and all this stuff, and they happen to, the fact that they could do that just absolutely amazing. I was just thinking, too, you have to figure, this is also the first time that Jon has seen any of the Lannisters since Ned has been. He hasn't seen Jaime and Cersei since season 1.
Yeah. That's true.
Actually,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy Jaime came to his senses. Like I was hoping they played that really well. Because it was just a bigger existential problem for him, and she's just thinking about it in the most ruthless way imaginable. And like they started the show so much more alike and then got separated and had such completely different experiences, and now they're different people. They've grown apart, and he just can't accept it yet, but that was some really good acting on his part.
I love his breakdown to her. It's like, okay, so we're all gonna die either way.
Do you understand what this means?
That was perfect. I love that. It's just like, look, we either help them and then we might die because of the zombies, or we don't help them, and if they do manage to kill the zombies, we still die, so why don't we hedge our bets type of thing.
And if they lose, we definitely die. Like there's just no way out.
That just proves that she's lost her mind. Because even him, like, wanting to help her and the family and all that stuff, he is like, okay, like any sane person, we're gonna stop this because zombies. Zombies.
Well, and Jamie's really been different ever since he was with Brienne, and he was captured. And like, I think Brienne is the one that actually changed him and turned him into an actual good person. Like, I mean, Jaime would be a good leader if he was in charge instead of Cersei.
Oh yeah.
And he wouldn't have been before because the start of the show, he's still this young, brash, pretty immature kid that just grew up, and he's this great soldier, and it's like, I know about war and I'm good at it, and hey,
he's a case player.
He
saved the world. He saved the world. He slayed the Mad King. That was his
and he was hot shit, and then she shows up, and he's fundamentally changing as a character with messed up things happening to him along the way, and she's this first feminine character that he opens up to, and that's as far as that goes. And so, like, you're right, she did change him a lot, and she by trying to show him what he was like because of his past, so you find out the backstory of really how it affected him. And I think she was the only person he told that to. That story, like if not the only of the first or something, where he relays it and you hear it from his perspective, and it's like, holy crap, like there's more to this character.
Definitely. And then definitely I was so happy. Probably my favorite moment, well, I don't know, definitely one of my favorite moments of the episode was when Littlefinger gets fucking killed.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that Arya did it, because she's just such a little badass, and it's kind of like, okay, your sentence is passed. She just walks by, slices his throat like it's nothing, because Arya's just that cool.
Yep. She's gonna be the last one standing.
But I fucking hated Littlefinger for so long. It was just like, finally you're caught. There's no way for you to get out. You've screwed over too many people, and now you're dead.
Before I talk about his brilliance acting,
yes,
but did you see anything else happening? I knew as soon as Arya walked in, I'm like, okay, they're gonna do this. 'Cause I'm like, she's not gonna kill her sister. Sansa doesn't have the balls. I don't care how much she thinks she does. I don't think. I never thought anything else was going to happen. Like, I don't even know if I thought deep down that Arya would have killed Sansa either.
No, like we had talked about this before, where people were freaking out too quick, where like her actions seemed strange in the previous episodes.
I think she was just telling her something. She was trying to
testing the waters, and Littlefinger, she couldn't predict her. Like I had thought from the beginning that there was a chance of a triple cross, you know, and she's that clever for it, and so yeah, and that totally explains their actions. The fact that they were playing him to see what he would do and how he would try to play them back, you know, like, and but anyway, so I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I had considered it. But, you know, when they pan over, when she says his name and they pan over and you see the shock on his face, like I felt that I felt that shock along with him, even though I had considered it before that like something else was up. I felt that shock right along with it. I was like, oh shit, they fucking got him. And he's like looking around like he realizes he's trapped, and he's like trying to plead with the other soldiers for a split second before he realizes it's futile. The whole scene was just, yeah, he lived up to the death. You know, like you're not going to forget that death.
And it's sad to say, like, you've taught me a great deal of things. I'll never forget you. But it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
Well, I just love how she threw all of the past like transgressions in his face, where you know he's like, "Oh, I love your
all the way
mother.
back.
Yeah, and you betrayed her. Oh, I loved you. Yeah, you betrayed me too." And like you said with the soldiers, I thought that was just such a great moment when he's like, "Yeah, let me just have a moment to compose myself, and I'll explain this to you." And then what's he do? He immediately turns to the soldiers of the area and he's like, "Get me out of here right now."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you already realize there's no point in even trying to explain your side of the story. You realize you're caught, and the fact that right now they start throwing it in your face. You know, even when since Bran was, you know, doing the Green Seer and Three-Eyed Raven shit and actually saw him betray Ned and all that, it was just like, dude, like they're calling up every single thing that you thought you had gotten away with and that nobody noticed, and it's just all on the table right now all at once, and you were just totally fucked.
Yeah, all the shit that he couldn't talk out of, she just brought all of it up. He started to get in minutiae, and she was like, "Oh, what about this big thing?" You know, like what about? And so yeah, there was no way. And then he pleads. Oh man, I hope Arya took his face. I really do, like because he's a useful character. So it'd be fun to see him come back, and you know where it's but her.
Not back for too long because there's only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I was really hoping for, and actually Littlefinger would be a good person to use, but I was really hoping to see Arya go and do the faceless man shit and walk up and assassinate Cersei, and Littlefinger would be one that she could probably pull it off with, but with only 6 episodes, I don't know. I really hope they do more of Arya using the faceless man stuff more, because it's just so fucking cool. The episode where she took out the crap, I can't remember his name, but the twin
Walder Greyjoy.
Yeah.
Walder Greyjoy.
No, he's not a Greyjoy. The twin towers.
I'm sorry, Frey. Walder Frey.
Frey. Yep. Well, yeah, the Frey. That was just absolutely amazing. It's like, yes, this is Arya's on a revenge path, and she's going to be able to take out anybody and everybody if she wants.
Dude, she pulled a Cartman and turned that people's family into pie. How do your parents taste? Oh, so sweet.
Made you eat your parents. Yeah, and she just slowly walks out, you know. She could single-handedly change the course of the war. She could single-handedly win the war. And I was hoping that that's what she was going to do before she found out that, like, John was still alive and her home was back, you know. And I get why she... You know, of course, you'd have to go back home. The second you heard that, you'd have to. But now that she's back home, it's like, all right, send her in, and the war is over. The war's over. Yeah. Cersei's dead. Everyone's dead.
That's still the thing, too, though. Like, since she's been her and Bran, so Jon still hasn't even seen Arya or Bran yet. So that's going to be an awesome reunion. especially the John and Arya one, just because they
Yeah.
always had such a close connection. So
And
the fact
she's
that they're
still got,
heading back
the
to the
sword.
north now, I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see like John and Arya's reunion. I think that's just going to be so amazing to see. But yeah, he hasn't even seen Bran. Bran's doing all his three-eyed raven shit that, you know, nobody even knows about it except for the Northmen. So
He's being a
Dany's gonna
weird.
find out about it.
He's being a
John's
weird
gonna-
dick about it too, though. Like, I can see everything. So why are you here? Wait. Wait. He's been a royal dick since he's gotten back. Like, just this emotionless, like.
Well, yeah, he's not Bran anymore. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. His powers are kind of like, I know everyone. Wait, oh hey, what's up? Oh hey Sam, what's up?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were coming.
Yeah. Exactly. It's kind of weird.
Well, I don't know if it's.
Like,
I
can
don't
he
think
see
he
the
just
future?
automatically knows everything. He only knows the stuff that he actually looks back to. So I mean, really, if you could do what Bran does and you could see anything and everything, it's not like you're just going to sit there and be like, well, I wonder what let's see what the people out here are doing. They have no significance whatsoever, but I'm just going to look and see. you know?
What's he like in the books?
So he's actually pretty close to what he is in the show. They played the Bran character really well. I'm trying to remember. That's actually one thing I don't think he actually became the Three-Eyed Raven yet in the books.
Okay.
There's just one book left, right?
That depends on Martin. I have no idea what he's going to write. Because up until, like I said, about the last two seasons have definitely been off script. They haven't been on the book. But before that, pretty much every season was a book. So the fact that they made these last couple seasons a lot shorter, I don't know if that's because he is trying to smash them all into like the final book of, Song of Ice and Fire or what. But yeah, I don't recall. I'm pretty sure Bran hasn't become the Three-Eyed Raven yet, at least not fully in the books.
Okay. All right.
Do we give any weight to the conspiracy theory that he's the Night King? Becomes the Night King?
The what king?
The Night King.
The Night King? Oh, no, because he tried to watch the Night King, and the Night King blew his birds apart.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, based on what they've shown, I would have no rational reason to think that. Like,
that is one of the things, and I don't remember. This is the part where it's hard for me to recall which part was in the show and which part was just in the books. But in one of them, I'm pretty sure it was in the books. I can't remember if it was in the show, but they actually postulate and say that, well, Bran the Builder is actually this Bran. It's from him going back in time as the Three-Eyed Raven, and he actually takes hold of somebody and is Bran the Builder that created the wall, millennia ago when it was built. So that's the one thing where I don't think that he's the Night King. Plus the fact that they actually show the Night King being created by the Children of the Forest.
yeah.
Is that the Night King or just the what? Is he the first one? Is that what that is?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Night King is the first one that the Children of the Forest stab him with that seed thing or whatever that they put into his chest.
Yeah.
And turns him into the Night King.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's a catalyst.
Right? I'm trying to remember why they did that. They did that to fight the Andals, right, or whatever. First men.
They did it to fight the men because the humans were going around eradicating the Children of the Forest. So they
gotcha.
they were trying to create their own army, and then they just couldn't control it after they made it.
Okay. I get the distinct impression that there's just different magical forces all at work now, all playing their own game. And those would be different magical forces. Whatever's powering the Night King is not the same thing that's the Three-Eyed Raven. It seems like,
No.
like in the series at least. And I know the books are different.
I don't
with
think
that,
it is
but,
either.
Yeah.
I don't think they're the same person. The thing that I really want to see, which is I feel like everybody's probably forgotten about, and I kind of forget about it too, is where the fuck is Ghost? Like,
Yeah.
Ghost is still alive, and I don't think he made an appearance at all this entire season.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All their money was put in that fucking Draco Lich.
Oh, the Draco Lich. So, yes, I had a feeling the wall was going to be breached, but I didn't consider that the wall was just going to, like, get toppled. And they weren't even going to have to breach the wall. They just walked. No, it wasn't the whole wall.
Yeah, it was just
It was just a section for them. That's why I saw some people this morning, they were, like, panicking that Tormund was dead. I'm like, no, he's not dead. They flat out showed him on the wall after it comes down. Like,
he barely makes it to the section that didn't fall.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like they don't even, somewhat make you even, or at least I didn't think even for a slight bit that he was dead. I mean, they flat out show that the wall comes down and he jumps, him and, what's his name? Thoris?
The fire guy.
Yeah,
They flat out show them both make it away from the ledge. And yeah, this morning I saw people like, no, not Tormund. Well, they didn't actually show him die, so he might not be dead. I'm like, he's not dead. They showed him on the wall perfectly fine.
Yeah, and if he was going to die, there would be no guessing. There are enough people who love that character. They're not just going to be like... It was like the Glenn thing, It was with Walking Dead. It was like... When the character knows, when the character is gonna die, you're gonna know it. It's not gonna be like this. Did one of the beloved characters of the show just die? No, you're gonna know.
Right. And like I said, I know Tormund's one of my other ones that I like a lot, so I know that he's gonna fucking die because that's just what they do. But
yeah.
It's hopefully in an epic way. I was really worried that he was going to get pulled under the water in the last episode when they were all dragging him down. I was like, no, this isn't the fucking way he goes.
That would have been a good death.
Yeah, if they would have done it right. If they would have maybe pulled him halfway and then he got just ripped apart, I'd been like, yeah, that's a good way.
Or just swinging more. Yeah, but yeah, he's got to go out in an epic fight. Hopefully fighting someone cool, because that's really been like the most fun aspect of the Game of Thrones series has been like when this character fights this, you know what I mean? When you get like the Hound and what's her name? Brienne, that fight, it's like, all right, these two legendary swordsmen come, battle it out. Like that's what I want to see. Like if you who would be a good fight? Like,
well, what I would like to happen, what I think would be a cool one is because, and they only mention a little bit in the show, but in the book, so he's actually known as Tormund Giantsbane because he's killed giants before.
Oh, sweet.
So if they had him fight the dead giant, and, if the giant
there was a few of them.
Yeah, if he actually took on the giants and, maybe he took like one down and then he just gets overtook, it's kind of like that sweet justice of like he's taken out giants before and finally he finally gets taken down by one himself.
Yeah, an undead giant, that would be a good death.
So, one more thing, we've been going for like an hour, but so is that like blue fire or just an ice beam? What are the physics of the
I feel like it's got to be fire
pressure?
because I don't see how they could be blasting the wall with ice and blow it apart like that. I mean, I feel like it's blue fire.
Yeah.
I've watched a few crime shows, those like TNT serial shows, and all the time they bring up those water things to shoot through concrete. That's what I thought of.
Yeah. But I didn't think...
fucking water saws or something?
Yeah. Oh, they're amazing. High PSI. They can cut through steel. They can cut through steel.
It's silly, but that's what I thought of when I saw it. I'm like, huh.
I thought Draco Liches had their own sort of flame.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just
you're crossing the streams,
it's some kind of magic fire type of thing.
You can look up it in the monster manual, but you're crossing the streams.
Yeah, well, no one has any other reference but what's already been done. So we all know they're pulling from D&D. Everyone does.
Of course. It's a Draco Lich. Through and through. As soon as I saw those chains, I'm like, Draco Lich.
Yep. Oh my god. So the undead, before anyone bitches about it, has way more power than the living, which is why that Draco Lich was able to blast that much fire for that long.
Yeah, because you got to think like if you're gonna pick it apart, like that spear punctured the thing's gas sac. That's why it exploded. and then bled. So it's like, where's the fire come from now?
Everybody knows that dragons do not have a gas sac. They have liquids that mix together, and when they mix together, they create the flame. Haven't you ever watched? I forgot the name of the movie with
the movie Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But these dragons, I'm sure in the sketches they have like glands. That are
but it's like this is actually occurring in nature. That there's a beetle, and I forget the name of the beetle that does this. It has two separate glands or sacs, like you're saying, and it's chemistry, and when it combines the fluid, it turns into this acidic sort of thing. So that's where the inspiration comes from. It exists in nature. It's really cool. But yeah,
the question is, did the undead process bring that back?
Oh yeah. Right? I didn't see a gash. I didn't see an open wound on the dragon undead dragon.
We really didn't see him close, but I'm just saying. Speaking of, that was a really cool effect when that spear hit and his stomach exploded.
Yeah.
It's like, fire.
Little things in the animation, like when they pulled him out of the water, the way that his upper jaw was sitting on his lower jaw, and just like the little things of the CG. We've never seen anything like this on TV before.
Yeah,
ever,
I was
ever.
worried because the dragons, when they first got big, the CG was kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that it got really good because you're right. The fucking CG is top notch.
Yeah, we've never seen it before. This is just, every episode is just record breaking in my mind as far as like what can be done on TV.
Yeah, and that's some of the reasons why they've gotten fewer episodes, because like it's cost them so much money to make this show. The last couple seasons.
Yeah.
The first couple are like, we don't have anything. We just got dudes and swords. Now we got dragons and undead and ships and stuff. So,
well, the Battle of the Bastards is still I think one of the best fighting scenes ever recorded for TV ever. And I think like we've never seen anything like that before. And when that happened, it just raised the bar. People lost their shit. Like it was like, all right, well that's where the bar is now. Like, good luck. It's only down. It only goes down from here.
To add to your lists, Vikings has some good fight scenes.
Yeah.
Vikings is that's my go-to for when I'm having my Game of Thrones withdrawals. That's when I watch Vikings.
That's a good show.
It's a very good show.
And I don't want to spoil it for people, but how they did Ragnar, you read the history books. Good job. They did it right.
Really? All right. Well,
how he died in real life. I spoiled it.
Oh, that's okay. Everyone,
don't Google the character. You'll see how he
everybody dies. Everybody dies. Don't be upset. Don't be surprised.
Google the character.
I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Oh my God! Google him, and it's the first thing you see on the Google page is the artist's depiction of how the motherfucker died. Spoilers: he dies. He's a historical character, kind of.
Yeah. Well, if it's in history, you get to ruin it for people because it's like
based on a few characters, but it's still just shut up.
This is going back to our 300 conversation from the last Omni podcast. How it's one of those.
Don't tell me how it ends,
want
guys.
to die, and because you know history, you're just like begging history to change. Type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think that covers it.
Yeah, I think that covered it pretty well.
Yeah, Defenders and Game of Thrones. Is there any final thoughts?
Viking spoilers. My bad.
Viking spoilers. Everyone dies. Final thoughts.
Next season is going to be amazing.
I hope so.
All right. Well, we'll wrap this shit up, and thank you for listening and tuning in to the Omni Lucid Media podcast. And there will be more to come. We look forward to doing more of these. So, say goodnight.
Fuck off and die.
Yay! Everyone dies.